It's a new year, it's a new game, even though we didn't get one last year. Thank you 2K for saving me £100. But they brought out WWE 2K22 this year, and as you know, over the years on my gaming channel and non-gaming channel, there has been wrestling content, and the reason for that is I am a wrestling fan, somewhat a wrestling fan. Truth be told, I haven't enjoyed wrestling in well over 10 years, but it's kind of like that bad smell that just won't go away. It's when you like something, but then it goes downhill, but you have a strange sort of loyalty towards it, so you kind of stick with it. That's how I feel about WWE. I honestly haven't enjoyed WWE in well over 10 years, but here, it's back. There's a new game out. That means I bought it, and that means I plan on playing it. So if wrestling content ain't your kind of thing, then I'm not forcing anybody to watch it. You know, you don't have to. You can just let it sit there with no views. But yeah, I will be flooding the chat, and I mean it this time. Normally, I buy the game, play it for like an hour, and then never touch it again. But this time around, I will be playing WWE 2K22, and they brought back a game mode which I have loved over the years. Now, currently on the channel, we have a SmackDown vs Raw 2007 GM mode running, where I play as Raw, and we're competing against SmackDown back in the one of the glory days of WWE, back in the ruthless aggression era. WWE may have went to shit now, but GM mode is something that is kind of like, it's an iconic mode that is loved by the fans. Now, I think one of the main reasons why GM mode was so loved is because it was interesting. You were actually competing. Everything mattered. You're competing against another show. You had the aspect of drafting your own roster. You had someone that you were going up against. You had to try and put on match after match and book things and try and outdo the other show. But a big part of why GM mode I think was good was it happened in eras where wrestling was actually good. GM mode was in games when wrestling was good. Now it makes its return after about, 15 years? And we do not have the same wrestler. You're not drafting the likes of John Cena. You're not drafting the likes of Triple H, The Undertaker. You're not drafting Shawn Michaels. You're not drafting those guys. Now we're playing with the 2022 era. But here, we're going to try and make it as good as we can. But I have looked at the GM setup of this year's mode, and while I can say that they have made some I say slight, they've made some good improvements, I'm not going to lie. They've added in some new features that I've never seen before in previous GM modes. It looks good from a distance, but I've actually checked out the setup, and some of the things just do not make sense. For example, when you draft your original roster, from what I've seen, they don't give you the full available roster to choose from. They give you like 50% of the roster, and you have to pick from what they allocate you. So, for example, top 3 guys in WWE are Brock Lesnar, let's say Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Bobby Lashley. When you go into the draft, only 2 of them might be available for draft. Only 1 of them might be available for draft. Or maybe even none of them will be available for draft. You might get lucky and all 3 of them are available. But you get my point, guys. They don't give you the full available roster, which in my opinion is really stupid. Another thing I've noticed is the match cards for each week. You only get 5 slots, 3 matches and 2 promo slots. So if you've got a big roster, that is going to be very hard to get everybody in your roster into the weekly show unless you plan on doing huge multi-person matches. Why did they do that? Honestly, I'm not sure. In my opinion, it's borderline breaking the game. But they've done it. They've only gave you 3 slots. Back in the day, in 2007 GM mode, Raw was 2 hours long, and you had 8 slots. You had 6 match slots and 2 promo slots. But now, they've only gave you 3 match slots and 2 promo slots, and Raw is an hour longer. How can a show get an hour longer, but they give you less than half of what they gave you previously? That makes 0 sense on its own. Another thing that makes 0 sense and is almost a game breaker, almost makes me want to phone Microsoft and tell them to refund my money for this game. They've not included all the belts from each show. If you go Raw, the only 2 belts available to your brand is the WWE Championship and the Raw Women's Championship. There's no tag team titles and there's no Intercontinental title. Just like if you go SmackDown, there's a Universal title and there is the SmackDown Women's title. There's no United States Championship and there's no SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Why did they do this? There's only one man's title and one women's title to compete for. So it essentially means every male that you draft to your roster, the only belt they can win is the world title. And let's be real, half the guys in your roster are just there to lose. They're there to eat the pin. They're there to maybe get lucky one day and win a mid-card title. Maybe team up with someone who's better than them and win the tag titles for, 5 minutes. They're not. Some people are just not on the roster to be the world champion, yet that is the only belt they can go after. So for me, very game breaking there. Cannot agree with that. Now, the roster itself is pretty huge. I think there's about 130 WWE superstars to choose from, but they've also included a bunch of made-up superstars that actually look good, like custom superstars that look good, and they've included them, and they've got their own pictures and stuff like that. So they've basically kind of filled out the GM mode with random made-up, like, local talent that you can maybe use. For example, if you just want to have them get squashed by someone that you're pushing on your roster. But the problem with that is there's only 3 matches. Why would you ever waste a slot on some, like, local dude when you've got a big roster yourself and there's only 3 matches to choose from? Like, back in the day, you could have done that when there were 6 matches, but now that there's only 3, you're going to be using your top guys for those 3 matches, top guys and top women. It's very rare that you're going to put some local person on the show and waste one of your matches on a base, essentially a jobber that's not even signed with the company. So again, I think that's really dumb. You've got the 4 brands in the game. You've got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK. It's pretty cool that you can play as any of the 4. But again, the bad news is you pick whatever brand you want to play as, and you can pick whatever brand you want to compete against. But whatever 2 brands you do not select, in either going or going against, they get deleted from the GM mode. They do not take part in the GM mode. So what is the point of having... You've got this massive roster that is, like, gigantic. It could easily fill the 4 brands, but you only get to have 2 brands in the actual GM with 3 matches on each show every week. So the need for having, like, a 200-plus roster is completely out the window because you've got such a limited match card and only 2 brands are available. To me, that absolutely sucks. I think it would have been cool if you could have played as like NXT UK or NXT and you had all 4 brands in the GM mode, and you maybe could have done like a Road to Glory type thing where you took over the smallest brand, NXT UK, and you tried to go from number 4 to number 1 and become the number 1 brand in WWE. But they've taken that out of the game. So if you go NXT UK, you can only compete against either NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. So if you go like NXT, you can compete against Raw, but then SmackDown doesn't exist. So again, I feel like that is a really horrendous idea. I don't know why they've done that, but that is how WWE GM mode in 2K22 has been designed. I quite frankly think it fucking sucks. But I mean, to me, it's already broken. I made a video on it on Fog Wrestling. You wait so long, they don't bring out a game last year, you wait about 15 years on GM mode, you're excited, and now that I've seen it, I haven't even played it yet, it's not even been released yet, but I've seen the setup of GM mode, and already I'm thinking, well, hopefully they fix it by next year's game. How can that be your attitude when this game ain't even out yet, and already we're putting our hopes into next year's game? That is insane. So, WWE 2K22 GM mode, in my opinion, sucks. It could be good, it might be good, but these things are always going to hold it back. No mid-card titles, only 3 match slots. You can't choose who you actually get to pick to draft. There's just lots of things that are really holding this game back, and it's like, I feel like this is 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They've introduced some good stuff. There's some exciting things that I want to see play out in the GM mode, but then they've hindered it. They've limited it with just some stupid decisions. Like, why would there only be 3 match slots on every show? Why would there be only 2 brands when there's 4 brands? Why would you not include tag team and intercontinental / US titles, guys? It's a shit show of events, guys. So there you go. GM mode sucks, but I'll be playing it. We'll be playing this, and yeah, that's it, guys. Look forward to the GM mode. It will be coming. It'll be coming thick and fast. The channel is going in the right direction. No more days off from now on. Vids every single day, and that's it, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below. I'll actually be uploading a GM mode episode 0 where I'm basically going to give you my thoughts and plans on how I intend my GM mode to go, which brand I intend to select, which GM I intend to pick, and yeah, who my number one choice is hopefully going to be in the roster. But that's it, guys. Till next time, been Son of Scotland 90. Thanks for watching, and peace.